All right, everybody, welcome back to the Break Zone. I'm JT here, doing our continued coverage of the Meta Potion Circuit, NorCal event number 1. We just finished round 3. We're going to move into round 4. Again, if you've been keeping up with our stream, you'll notice that a lot of Earth is being played in our circuit today. It's not a surprise. Earth has gotten a lot faster with Opus 3. And the next two players that we're going to jump into to watch their math are both strong Earth players. And so let's go ahead and take a look to see where they are, and then we're going to go ahead and jump right into their match. All right, here on our feature table, we're going to be welcoming back Brian, who you saw in the last match, and Jared, who is one of the national players and one of the top finishers at, I believe, top 30 in all of the nation. So it's going to be interesting to see, how they play. As we've already seen with Brian, he's playing Mono Earth. He just played the last match with the whole Yang Ursula combo. So, all right, let's see. They're going to go ahead and roll, and we're off and running. So it's really interesting to see like that how prevalent Earth is, in our event circuit, because we're actually not seeing a lot of Earth play, overall, in our meta. So, that's great because, the Meta Potion circuit brings in a lot of players from, all over. So, we have players from Sacramento, San Francisco, all over the Bay Area. So it's good to see the types of cards and types of decks that they're bringing out. So, we're just waiting for, the round to start, and we'll see, just how they're doing. So, and we're off and going. It looks like Brian's gonna draw first. Let's see what he plays. We've already seen how aggressive he can play before, but hasn't gone up against a Jared, who is a very strong and calculating player. One of the better players in and around our meta right now. And again, like I said, a higher rated player in the U.S. Nationals. He starts off with the WRO member, and Brian starts off with the Tama. Goes into the draw, and let's see what he plays here. Is he going to go for early aggression? Is he going to build up his backup list? He twishes a Shantoto to play a Vincent into a Yuffie. We've seen this earlier, with Brian and also with Dylan, how that Yuffie is just, really, really strong. Anything that you play for free is going to be, a good card to play, a good play to make, because it's essentially a free card. And if you played any, Magic or any other card games, when you get free cards, it's just really, really cool to be able to play them and put a lot of pressure on your opponent. Jared's mulling over his hand to see if he's going to be okay with taking these next 2 points of damage, or if he can have an answer for it right now. The hard part here is being able to deal with an opponent while still playing your brand game. So we're seeing Jared drop down a new Opus 3 card, and I'll go ahead and bring it up for everyone to take a look at. Scarmaleon. So when he enters the field from the break zone, you can choose a forward, deal it damage equal to half of the Scarmaleon's power, rounded up. But he's just hard playing it right now. It's a good card at a 2-drop for 6k. It's a little bit underpowered. He can, in fact, block the Yuffie. I don't think he can block the Vincent, because the Vincent gets 1,000 as well as a Brave. I believe he can still block the Yuffie, so we'll see what's going on here. Brian goes into attacks with the Vincent. And we'll see if Jared's going to respond with anything or let that damage go through. So Jared plays the other Scarmaleon as Flash to do a block. And Let's see. Okay, so yeah, that's right. So he's gonna attack. Scarmelion comes in and flash with the block, and we'll see what Brian does now. He's gonna discard Tarma to play a what looks like a machinist on backup line. We'll take a look at that machinist and see what it does, and see how that was a good play instead of playing the Tama. And then playing another Tama on top of that. So the machinist is going to let you dole a forward of cost 4. Choose a dole forward and break it. That could be useful if he doesn't have any forwards that he could play with the Tama. It makes sense to go and discard a Tama. Jared plays the Opus 1 Cecil. That's when he takes damage, he's going to be able to do some damage to opponents' forwards, which actually might help him out right here, because those forwards are small enough that he can actually start to do some damage to them. He brings out a Kapal. Might be a little too early to bring out that Kapal, because I think Jared's just going to take that damage right now. Right, he flips over an Aerith on the damage. Let's see what else he decides to do here. Jared flips over the damage. It's still Brian's turn to act. Oh, nope, it's on to Jared's turn. He's going to play the Pitch Dasher to play the Maria. Looks like Jared's going for the longer game. He's making his Cecil effectively now 8,000, and Scarmelion now 7,000. He actually, that was a pretty strong play that he didn't do anything else. Brian could have gotten more value out of the Gapal. He played it maybe a little bit too early, hoping to punch through. He only got 1 damage out of the Gapal. Now it's stuck on the field, and he can't play another one. Jared lets that damage go through from the Vincent that is Brave, so now he's taking 2 points of damage. It's not terribly bad right now, because I believe Jared's trying to build out his line to help stabilize. He's banking on the fact that his forwards are going to be a lot larger. He's already taken, a point of damage, so he's pinged something for 5,000. If he takes another point of damage, he can actually ping something else for 5,000 and handily just, break a forward. And he pings the Yuffie. Brian attacks with the Kapal. Jared brings out the Scarmelion to block and plays the special, I believe. Now let's take a look at Scarmelion to see exactly what Jared has done. So when Scarmelion is put into the field from the break zone during the zone, return Scarmelion into the field. It gains 2,000 power until end of turn. So because one left, another one comes in. And that's how you use his power. You basically use his Living Dead to block, to bring in another one, and now he's stronger. And so now, this Scarmelion that's been discarded and got put back into play is now 8,000. It's a very interesting trick here. It makes it really hard to go through because, you keep blocking and he keeps getting bigger. I like that play. I think that's a strong play. It really holds the board for Jared right now. With all this early aggression, it's actually quite good on him that he's only taking 2 points of damage. And it looks like he's stabilizing the board. He has this Maria. He doesn't look like he's going to take any more damage this turn. Because that 8k Scarmelion is actually 9 with Maria, so he can literally block everything that Brian has. So I'm not sure Brian wants to attack with any more of his forwards. The players are, thinking about what's best to do right now, so. Let's see what he can do here. I really like that Scarmelion play by Jared. I think that's something unexpected. That's gonna block and go into the graveyard, the break zone there. He's not gonna respond to it. Brian's gonna pitch 2 cards. Looks like a guy and what looks to be another Tama, I believe, and play his Delita. Again, we see Delita come back out. It is a 9K, but Jared's not in a bad position. He has cards. He's stabilized against the early aggression fairly well. He does have to deal with Delita, but hopefully he can deal with the Delita while still playing his deck's game. That's really kind of the key here. So, if he's able to play something that's going to be able to handle Delita on the battlefield as opposed to targeting him with an ability or a summon, that's going to be pretty good. Let's see what he does. Jared does take a lot of time to process. Makes him a much more calculating player. He takes into account all the different types of possibilities, and it's really a bit of a treat watching him process and play this game. So he taps the WR backup as well as the Maria. So he's got 1 Earth and 1 Wind Crystal Point. Looks like he's taking that back. He's going to go ahead and pass the turn. He might be okay taking some points of damage right now. We'll see what he does. Okay, so Brian's looks like he's gonna attack with the Vincent. Jared's going to block with the 9,000. He's gonna target the Maria, bringing his Cecil back down to 8,000, which I believe. Sorry, bringing that Cecil back. Let's take a look at Cecil and see exactly what he does and what plays Jared can make right now. He's going to go ahead and do the Monk backup to buff it again. Hopefully this time it's going to allow, right. So he uses the Monk to break it so that his Cecil stays alive and he breaks the Vincent. So now Jared has effectively traded 2 backups. Oh, well. 1 backup got destroyed, but traded 1 backup for a forward. Usually that's a net neutral play, depending on the board state. Excuse me. I'm not sure this is a good play for him. He's putting himself back on the shorter end of the stick on the backup line. Hopefully he can play a backup because now he has board control on the forwards end. Brian attacks with Delita. Oh, that's a good play right there. He plays the Aerith, then tapping the WRO member. Right, so it's a good play. You want to build up your backup line because you just used it to gain board control. So if Brian does attack with that Delita, I'm assuming Jared's going to take that and hopefully hit him on the backswing. It depends on if Brian can play another forward here to continue the pressure. We've seen him at this position. He could play a Yang Ursula, anything like that to regain board control if he has those cards. If he doesn't, he's giving Jared some time to reactivate that Planet Protector, which is good. Okay, so Brian plays into a Monk, passing the turn. He's taking a more cautious approach. He's ahead right now. He doesn't have board control on the forwards end. He does have a 9K, so that's going to be hard for Jared to deal with. So it's a good move to play backup. Jared plays the Anacross, which is going to be huge. If that Maria was still in play, he'd easily be able to walk over that Delita. So right now we're kind of seeing the players back off a little bit. Building up that back line is important, especially in Jared's case. He is looking at that Aerith, and as a player, when you see an activated Aerith, it's really difficult to deal with. You don't know if they have something to play to do a Planet Protector. He plays the Gapal into the Delita. My guess is that Jared's going to take that because that's a waste of a Delita of a Gapal. Yes, that's right. He's going to take the damage. So I'm not sure if that that Gapal is getting all its value at this point. It's only 1 point of damage. But he's still up. He's slowly ticking away at Jared. Jared needs an answer for that Delita or that Gapal. It's been a couple of rounds before he played a last backup, so he needs to build that. Last forward. He needs to build that forward line now, hopefully he has something to play. Because eventually, if Brian pulls, it's a matter of time before Brian gets a Yang Ursula out. He has one in his discard or break zone, so he's only maybe has two left in his entire deck. So it's a matter of time. But Jared can also pull out a Yang Ursula, so it seems like they're both kind of stalling until they have enough to go over. But Brian has the upper hand here because that Delita is 9k and very difficult to deal with. So we could see maybe if Jared gets enough, he could party attack, hoping Delita would block. But I don't see Delita being in an active state on Jared's turn. If I were Brian, I'd also keep attacking with that Delita. It is going to cause Jared a lot of issues to deal with it, and at the same time, that relieves Brian of having to continually put pressure out in the forms of just playing cards and getting things out. So Jared plays into the guy. Right now the guy is, I believe, a 9,000 Brave, so he can block right now, so that's good. And he can block and deal with Delita. It's good. Let's see what he does. So Brian's gonna attack with the Delita. He might be able to block with Cecil and use Cecil's ability to ping Delita. And the Delita's special ability wouldn't work, or nothing would happen because Cecil would be dead from combat damage anyways. He decides to block with the guy. Is Brian going to play something? He's going to play the Hecaton Kier on the Anacross, dropping guys' power down to a point where Delita can actually break him. It seems to be something that Brian likes to do a lot, which is play the Hecaton on top of the stack before damage is dealt. Is he going to attack with that Gapal? Not sure. See his hands. It's okay. Jared just played that, so it's back to the same board set as before, and he saved himself a point of damage. So it's a good defensive play. He did lose a backup instead, but he really needed an Anacross or Maria right now to help him out. He's not winning on the power curve because that Scar Million is just not big enough. We'll see what he does here. Again, it's interesting to watch how these players are playing around their deck's strengths and weaknesses. Again, I'd like to take this moment to thank all of our viewers for dropping in, watching us here as we cover Meta Potion Circuit NorCal event number 1 here at Isle of Gamers. Big shout out to Isle of Gamers and Elusive Comic Books and Anna for throwing a fantastic event. And we hope you guys are enjoying our live stream. Jared looks like he's going to party attack. He's going to block with the Gapal. Brian's going to block with the Gapal. And now Brian gets to choose who he wants to deal the damage to. He's going to... Let's see what he does. He's going to play the Atomos. Right, the Atomos is not going to work here. Yeah, so exactly. So he's just going to block, dealing the damage to the Cecil. Scar Million stays in play. Now let's see if Jared can deal with that Delita. Because if I was Brian, I'd keep attacking with that Delita. I would keep pressing. He's already gotten the value out of it. He's already did some damage. You keep pressing it, and it relieves you from having to continually play forwards because he's already enough pressure as it is by himself. That lets your hand become a little bit more loose. You can use those cards to play a little bit more of the backups. You can plan for later turns, and really kind of playing the long game here. Jared is thinking about what he wants to do here. He just party attacked to get rid of the Gapal. He has a Scar Million out, which is not doing much for him now, so it's okay to party attack with it so that at least he can trade, but I'm not sure if he really wanted to lose that Cecil. Cecil is not doing much for him now because he's already at 3 points of damage. He doesn't want to be any more loose with his life total right now to use Cecil's ability. So he's going to go ahead and Dole. He discards and he plays the Vincent. Wow, which is good. He might be able to trade with Delita if he does a death penalty, and if Brian doesn't get a forward out, and decides to attack, he's going to take 2 on the backswing. Granted, he's up by 3. So let's see let's see. He tried to Atomos him. So let's bring up Atomos to see what card exactly. So it looks like he's trying to Atomos him, and then and then it's going to go ahead and break. It's going to go ahead and break Vincent, and we'll bring up Atomos to see what it does. It says choose a forward and deal it damage equal to its highest power forward you control, that being 9,000. So you can straight Atomos the Vincent, and that's a strong play right there. Brian brings out the girl in the mask. That's going to break the Scarmillion, leaving his board with 4 backups and a forward to Jared's just 2 backups. Jared's really behind right now on the backup game. He's going to... he brings up the Shantoto. He's discarded 3 cards and plays a Shantoto, which is going to wipe the board and give Jared a bit of a breathing room right here. He's banking on the fact that Brian, if he already had a forward, would have already played it to add the pressure, and he doesn't. That's a good bet right there. Strong bet. Brian would have played a forward to go with that Delita because he had an open board. There would be no reason not to. So that was a good play. He correctly assumed that Brian would have kept the pressure on. But now that he has an empty board, he's only 1 behind on the backup. But he's behind on the cards. He only has 2, so Brian does have advantage right now. But it doesn't look like Brian has much of a play here. It doesn't look like he's gonna pass the turn, giving Jared yet another turn to stack up his cards. This is going to be a very good Shantoto. Let's see what Jared does with this opportunity here. He plays the WRO Commander, which is a great card because he already has the WR person in the back, which is really going to help protect him. So let's take a look at the WR Commander and see what it does. That was a really good Shantoto because you're banking on your opponent not having what they think a forward to play. So let's see what Brian does here with the WR Commando. If you have the WR Commander gains 1,000. If you have a Vincent, or if the card named WR member you control gets 2,000. So it buffs the other forwards, and it buffs the Vincent too. So you can see how this works really well with the Earth deck. So we'll see what Brian does here. Hopefully he has forwards to play. That board wipe, if he goes too aggressive and overextends, he's not going to be able to get back from that Shantoto. He plays the Dark Emperor, so that things don't get activated. He pitches 2 cards and then plays a Raubon to get rid of the Commander. Alright, so that's a strong play. Now, that stops Jared from using any activated abilities. That Dark Emperor is a good lockdown card. Jared plays into the Gapal. Kind of a feel bad moment because that Gapal's not getting much value right now. It is a strong overall, a big person. Is he going to trade with the Emperor? The Emperor's only 8k. Is it worth it right now? Is he going to try to use any activated abilities? Usually you don't want to attack with your Dark Emperor. You just want to keep him. Jared takes the damage and moves over to 4 points of damage. And Brian plays the Delita. Looks like Brian's gotten the board control back. Jared has an opportunity here to keep even with him. If he doesn't keep even with him, he could be looking at being in more of a bind right now. I'm not quite sure if Jared has anything to play to get rid of that Delita. He needs an answer to that Delita. It's gonna keep attacking. It's a 9K body. Let's see what he's able to do. I'm not sure if there's anything he can do. Perhaps a Dorgan if he's running a Dorgan. Dorgan's an easy counter to Delita because it breaks himself anyways. So it gets past Delita's ability. Looks like Jared has a play in mind. Oh, no, he's changing his mind. He needs an answer now, or he's looking at another point of damage, and once you get to around a 5 point of damage, you're really your options are really limited in terms of what you can do to hold out and try to set up a winning board state. Jared has 5 cards in his hand, so he does have options. I think he's trying to think about what's best to play right now. Okay. Let's see what he does. He knows he can't use any special abilities. Is he going to try to do the Veil 4? Is that going to be a strong enough play for him to wrestle back a little bit of board control? And if he does Veil 4 right now, Brian's looking at 5 backups already, so he can easily recast that Delita. So I'm not quite sure he's going to get a lot of value out of that other than saving himself a turn of damage, though it might be enough for him to build back up. But when you Veil 4, you're going to be able to race faster than your opponent can. So it looks like he's pitching his Veil 4. He's going to play the Maria. He's going to play... And he's also going to play a Gabranth. Wow, Gabranth is really big right now, considering that Jared has 5 points of damage on him. It looks like he already does have 5 points of damage. So Gabranth is going to be really large there. Let me bring up Gabranth so that people can take a look. Delita is going to... Is he really going to attack into that Gabranth? He's going to attack. You need to keep attacking. So Gabranth is now 9. The cost to play him is reduced, so he's able to play Gabranth for a lot cheaper because he's taken 5 points of damage. So now he has a 9K that can deal with. He's got a 10K because of Maria. It's a good card right now. Actually, it's 10K with Brave. He can keep attacking with it. Oh, that might actually help Jared stabilize. If Jared can play this turn, and there goes a Yang Ursula. That's going to be really hard to mess with right now, considering. Let's see what Jared does. Right. Yang Ursula is going to put a lot of pressure on Jared right now. We have 4 minutes in the round left, so we might go to turn and see what's going on. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us on our stream while we watch Jared and Brian duke it out. Before the end of Brian's turn, when priority is passed, Jared's going to go ahead and play an Ashura to bring back a Scarmillion. Let's see what he does with that Scarmillion. I'm interested to see why he chose the Scarmillion as opposed to a Vincent or something else, or if he had a Yang or an Ursula in his hand. So let's see how he does with this Gabranth. The Gabranth is going to be able to block and trade with something, because it is right now a 10K. So he's going to play the Vincent, and he's going to play the WRO member. He has blockers out, and Jared has no cards in his hand, so let's see what Brian does. Does he have a play here? He's going to enter his combat phase, so he has to choose his forwards to attack with. He's going to attack with Delita. Jared takes that 6 point of damage right there. Now he has to block. Brian attacks with Ursula, who is now a 9k, I believe. Jared blocks with his Vincent. Brian pops his Monk. He's going to attack with his Yang. He's going to do the Titan so that the Golem to make it larger. And Titan so that doesn't break. Wow. Okay. There's not much that Jerry can do here. And I believe that he has to block here or it's going to be game. And he actually trades up with the Dark Emperor. Is there anything else that Jerry can do? He's at 6 points of damage. He's staring down 3 fairly large forwards. So let's see what Jerry can do here. Jared's going to go ahead and play his Vincent. I'm not quite sure that he's going to save himself a point of damage, but this looks like it might be game. He's going to play the Gapal. He's going to go right through. And I believe that's game. Right, so that puts Jared back at 7 points of damage, and I believe that is game right there. Again, we see the power of Mono Earth. The Yang Ursula. It's just a matter of time before you get to the Yang Ursula, you see it here every time. If your opponent can't deal with the Earth Forwards as they are now, it's just a matter of time before that Yang Ursula comes out to push you over. If the Yang Ursula doesn't come out, then you have the Gapal. Right, so, Mono Earth is really having a slew of weapons at its disposal that's really helping it kind of move through a lot of different types of decks and have answers all the way around. As you saw, Brian played things like Titan and Golem to help protect his forwards as well, so that they're not trading up or trading with anything, and it keeps that pressure ongoing. So another well-played match by Brian. We're going to go ahead and take a break. That's the end of Swiss round 4. Get ready, stay tuned, because after this we're going to go start doing our best of 3 quarterfinals into the top 4. So again, we hope you guys continue to join us. We hope you're enjoying the stream, the different types of decks that you've seen, a lot of Earth, and hopefully you'll see a different type of gameplays in the top 4 when we're going to the best of 3 format. So thank you for joining us. Please stay tuned for the top 4 matches, and we really hope you enjoy watching us play. And I like to give a shout out to the meta circuit, the meta potion circuit, for putting together this entire tournament scene. It's been great. Shout outs to Matthew Okimoto, Kyle McGinty, all of our stores down in SoCal and in NorCal that have put the circuit together. You guys have been great. We're really enjoying our first event. Go ahead and stick tuned, and we'll see you in a little bit for top 4.